Oh, wait, hang on. What is that going on here? Let me turn off the other sound. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I like the sound.
Yeah, it would have been too sound. It was. Nice. Okay, here we go.
Whoa. Nice close.
Sounds like Kylie.
All right.
Alright guys, so anyways, I have a question. When was the time that you guys had to have faith for something? Anyone?
Moving to Texas.
Having kids.
Anyone else?
Moving to Texas.
Yeah. So if you would all turn with me to Mark 5:24 to 34. Found it? Alright. Jesus went with him, and all the people followed, crowding around him. A woman in the crowd who had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years she had spent everything she had to pay them. But she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, I can just touch his robe and I'll be healed. Immediately the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body that she had been healed of her terrible condition. Jesus realized at once that the healing power had gone out of him. So he turned around in the crowd and asked, Who touched my robe? The disciple said to him, Look at this crowd pressing around you. How can you ask, Who touched me? But he kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell to her knees in front of him and told him what she had done. And he said to her, Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, your suffering is over. And whenever I was younger, my dad, he had this thing. It was a shop vac, I guess. And as kids, as most kids, their rooms would get really messy, like really, really messy. And so every time our room got messy, our dad would threaten us that he was going to suck all of the toys up with the shop vac. I mean, so this shop vac was like Saddam Hussein and Hitler mixed together. Not like an actual thing. So we were freaking out. We'd always clean our room really good. But finally, after a little while, I had been working with my dad. Well, not really working, just using my toys to try to smack something else. But I noticed that while he was working, the shop vac would get full, and he'd open it, and everything in there would be just fine. And then he'd just dump it into the trash can. And so I realized the shop vac opens. It's not just a bottomless pit that I can't get into. So next time we had to clean our room, all of my sisters were scrambling around, going crazy, and I was just sitting there relaxing, just, nothing to worry about. And they were like, they asked me, why aren't you cleaning? Why aren't you doing anything? And I was just like, the shop vac opens. And so my dad walked around after that, and he saw us and was like, why aren't you guys working? And Caitlin, she said, Daddy, are you going to open the shop vac for us next, if we don't clean our room? And my dad was like, nope. And so after that, we got our room cleaned pretty quick. But just as in the story, the disciples, they see a woman step out in faith. Right before this, Jesus tells them, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And then right after this, Jesus goes to his own city, and he proclaims himself, but everyone's just like, oh, we know you. You're just Jesus of Nazareth. So we're not going to believe in you because we knew you as a kid. And so he couldn't do anything there because they didn't have faith. And as Christians, as you all know, God calls us to step out in faith. But everyone likes to live an idle life, just sit around and twiddle their thumbs while just not growing at all in their faith. And whenever stuff happens to them, whenever they go through tough times, they're like, God, where are you? And God's just like, well, you didn't trust me before whenever you had all the good stuff, so if you're not trusting me now, how can I help you? And this woman, she also had one of the same problems. She had this bleeding problem, but she went to his doctor. She just kept looking around, and if you're bleeding, you're ceremonially unclean. So you can't really talk to anyone, or you can talk to someone, but you can't touch anyone, otherwise you'll make them unclean. So if she had a husband at this time, she couldn't even touch him, couldn't even hold hands. And if she had kids, she couldn't bounce them on her knee or anything. She couldn't touch anyone. Like if she did, they would be unclean. They had to go through this whole process of cleansing. It was horrible. She couldn't even go into the temple because of how unclean she was. That means that she can't repent. Basically, if the equivalent today is there's something that's keeping you from being saved in Christ. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how it is. She can't repent of her sins. So for her to go up to Jesus in the middle of a crowd and touch him, that's just huge. Like Jesus, he's kind of right now at the equivalent of someone, I don't know, like a governor. And if you touch the governor, he has a lot of security. They can harm you, or they can do stuff to you if you touch him. Maybe more like the president. But so she touches him, and he turns around and says, "Who touched you?" And instead of having to pray or having to do something alone, she has to step out in front of everyone and say, "I touched you." But she's the unclean woman, so how can she step out and say, "I touched you"? Because that just means, oh, now Jesus is unclean, so how can that happen? And so that just makes it so much harder for her. But she doesn't. She steps out and she says, "God, I touched you." And Jesus says, I've been there, and now you can go, and you can be free. I'm not going to punish you for going to me. I'm going to let you be free. And in the same way, people like to just stand around, try to see if the world can help them, try to see if the material possession can help them. But in the end, they all end up empty. And it's kind of the same, because God's always there for us. He's always willing to be there, but everyone always says, "Oh no, I'm just going to run my own thing. I'm just going to do my own stuff." But then that's when stuff happens that just doesn't work out. And so maybe it's not us it's not God who's not there, but maybe God and we're not listening. And how many of you guys can honestly say you're living a life of faith? Hands raised? Faith that doesn't sit around and twiddle its thumbs all day, that doesn't live life in material, but a faith that can move mountains, that can change the world, that can grow a kingdom, that can heal the sick. And faith like that is so much better than anyone else's. A faith like that is so real. It can change lives. It can move mountains, as I said before. And all we have to do is believe that God will help us and step out. And God is calling us to step out. And He's calling us to be Him, or be like Him, and be filled with Him. And I just want to know, are you guys listening? Are you guys listening to God? Are you guys trying to hear from Him? Or Or are you just sitting around like everyone else? Twiddling your thumbs, tithing. Then when the end comes, God, he'll either say, I never knew you, or he'll say, yeah, you did. You proclaimed your faith in me, or you gave your life to me, and now you're barely making it in. So I guess you're in, but you missed so much in your life. And God doesn't want us to miss so much. God doesn't want us to sit around bleeding and unable to do anything for anyone else just because we're not willing to run to him. And after a little while, God will give us desperation, give us trouble. And through desperation, we will run to him. And it's kind of the same in her life as it is in our lives. We're walking around, we can't do anything, we can't touch anyone, we can't help anyone. And yet God, he's there. He's willing to pick us up and allow us to go out and help everyone. And God is trying to give us a chance, and he's trying to help us to be strong in him. And so God is calling us to live a life of faith. Are you guys listening?